have started White Sand, and I have two things to say. Number one, is this the same Chris that was at the dance? That was asking Wax, like, hey, have you ever tried this while doing this as well, the, like, scientist? And also, maybe I just forgot what she was described as looking like. Was she always this cool looking? And number two, I just met this guy just now, and I can already tell he sucks. Now, I was obsessed with comic books in high school, and this is very fun. It brings me back. All right, so we have finished the prologue, and you got Chris and her peeps are traveling across an ocean or a body of water to get from the dark side to the day side. Okay, her crew seems pretty cool. And then we've got Kenton and Triben. They're cool. I like them a lot. I like the idea that the what are they called? The people, the order, they're so difficult to pronounce. The Lestrals, Underlestrals, the Sandmasters, those people. I like that there's like varying levels of like power with it, depending on how many ribbons you can have. And some people, like Triben, has like 15 ribbons, and other people have 9, and Kenton has 1, but he's really, really good with it. I like that. I like a quality over quantity thing going on. And then this weird sort of like priest guy that's yelling stuff. So I like Chris's crew. I like Kenton. He seems cool. He's got something to prove. I'm down with that. His dad is in some sort of position of power. Pretty neat. I will say they are throwing a lot of stuff. They're like, there's this person and this name, and they're using a lot of like in-world vernacular, which, you know, I am all for, but it gets a little overwhelming sometimes when you start throwing a bunch of different words that I don't understand. But prologue down, I really like it. It's pretty cool. I'm interested to see where this goes, because that priest guy was a little wild. Okay, all right. We love a character that's got something to prove, that everyone says he can't do it, and then it ends up being even harder for him than everybody else. Still succeeds. I mean, they tell this guy, hey, you're going to need to find 5 spheres. Get ready. It's going to be nuts. Oh, they didn't tell him about the giant monster that's going to pop up, that he's going to have to fight all dehydrated. And then also, he's like, oh, I need to find the 5th sphere. Oh, shit. There's a 6th one. Look at this guy. He's like, I don't care. I'll figure it out. You want some of this? Boop. And then he makes a wound in it, and then sends his ribbon into the wound he just created, and kills the thing, and gets 6 spheres. What a power move. And they're straight up like, oh shit, 6 spheres? That's impossible. What? I only put 5 out. How'd that happen? Well, you gotta be cool with your son now. And he's like, we'll see. Kenton's awesome. Kenton is awesome. His dad, less so. But you know what? He's got to come around eventually. He's got to. When your son is that cool, you got to figure it out, dude. All right, enough of the acting stuff. We got to get back to what really matters. And what really matters is just how cool Chris looks. I mean, just look at that. That's cool enough. Look at her. What an icon. What a statement. I mean, is this what people mean when they say slay? Is this slay? Is she slay? What is going on? Like, come on now. You see her in a caravan, they're going to be like, oh shit, that's who's in charge right there. Wow. Tyndall would be proud. Okay, so his Triben isn't like his best friend in the whole world. It's Auric. Interesting. And Auric left for the dark side years ago and hasn't returned. Yeah, that's the face I'm making with this information. Ooh, he wasn't supposed to kill that thing because it's a part of the course. And now he's kind of ruined it for everybody else. Damn. So this guy's starting to basically get paid for his powers, making them mercenaries and stuff. But he also isn't drinking the water like everybody else is. And look at his haircut. Man, Kenton's dad is the worst. He straight up says, this guy is doing actual bad things, and he gives him a higher rank than his own son. What? And he says, I'll expel you from the DM if you don't take this terrible rank. Okay, this is just me being dumb, which is hilarious, because, in a book, you gotta read a couple chapters to figure out what happens next. So he's like, if you don't take this, I'm gonna throw you out. And he's like, you know what? No, I'm taking this gold sash because I've earned it, and I'm gonna go for it. And he's like, they're only gonna think I got the rank because I'm your son. Which, by the way, is bullshit, because he's taken this test so many times, and he just did the best out of everyone. He earned this. And his dad is like, you know what? You're not going to find any peace in this. And the very next page, it was like, oh God, oh no, what's happening? What's going on? Oh no, oh shit, we're under attack. Dude, I'm sorry, this sucks, ruined your graduation. And also, do I owe you an apology? Are you protecting him? I don't know. Okay, so these people are attacking. This was really interesting. Master Sand falls dead a moment after touching blood. So that's interesting. But this guy's over here like, you got nothing. Good luck. Literally stabs the dude. And he's like, hey, quick. Why are you doing this? Who sent you? This is like when Jackie Chan is like, I don't want any trouble. As he's like beating the mess out of everybody. Also, I don't know how he's going to be able to answer that, pal. You just kind of skewered him. Also, these guys fighting, and they're not doing a very good job, right? Very interesting that they haven't even, knowing that your power runs on water, and you have no other disciplines just in case you run out of water, you're just, helpless? I mean, at least he's got a sword, but, come on, guys, seems like something we should have thought about before this moment, huh? Ew. Oh no. You quite literally turn yourself into a husk if you run out of water? Ugh. Good lord, this dude straight up, alright, let's do this the old school way, starts cutting people up, and then he hears a scream, and his dad, straight up, look at all these arrows flying at him. And his dad straight up explodes. Oof. Yikes. Kenton has 2 weeks to figure out how to, handle all of the debts, all the budgets, get everybody to follow him. And Dryle, who, by the way, I'm pretty sure is a bad guy, is immediately, picking fights with him. And they're like, oh, I bet you can't fly to the top floor. And he's like, bitch, watch this. Straight up flies. But then they, straight up calls him a traitor. And they start fighting. And he's like, ba-boom. Take that. Yikes. What? How are you going to immediately pick fights with this guy? This, you're a problem. You're a real problem. Okay. Ais? A-I-S? How do you pronounce her name? Whatever. She is very cool. I like her a lot. She's very cool. And this guy, whoever this is, he is also very cool. She's in the middle of being choked to death, and he's like, I don't know if I'd do that. And he's like, what? Take the sword and face me. He's like, I don't think I need it. See, this guy, Dryle needs to style his hair like this because he'd look less evil. This guy looks very cool. And then he just straight up is like, nope. This dude's burning atium. You know what I'm saying? He's cool. I don't know who he is, but I like him. Oh, cool. This is Auric. This is his buddy. They, disappeared a while back. Cool. Hey, so Chris is here, right? She's doing her thing. And she, doesn't believe in sand mastery, even though she's looking at it. She's like, where are the strings? How are you doing that? And even here, she's like, how does it work? There has to be some power coming from somewhere. Does White Sand take place before Secret History and Era 2? Because she seemed, being in the Shadesmar, pretty calm, all things considered. But But here, she, like, doesn't even know that any kind of magic exists. Huh. Wait a second. The Lord Beggar had her fiancé's pistol and ring, and it's got blood on it? What? Is that the gun she pulled on Kelsier? Alright, 2 quick things. Number 1, Brandon Sanderson loves himself a ball. Number 2, Chris says, "You're lucky my star marks don't show on the day side." Does Chris have tattoos? She keeps getting cooler and cooler and cooler. Now, I'm sure this wasn't intentional, but it did make me like, Kenton just saved these people, and they're like, "Hey, what's your name, pal?" And he's like, "Trell." I was like, but no, that's not Trell. Real quick. So lots happening. Kenton's trying to get people to figure him out. There's an assassins showing up on days they're not supposed to be. Bayon disappeared. Chris is paying Lord Nilto to try and find information about it. But who was that? It goes from here to be like, "Hey, if you see anyone, let me know." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll tell you if you pay me later on." But then it says later at the DM. That's a face in the clouds. What is happening here? Nilto is Gavin? What? I mean, I don't blame Chris for not recognizing her betrothed because, he looks like that. But still. Hold on. She's back. Can they see her? Can anyone else, look up in the clouds and see this face? Alright, I feel really bad for Auric. Real bad. Poor guy. He's like a badass warrior, but he doesn't want to be. And I keep forgetting that the Lord General is his dad, and they found him with his eyelids cut off. Ugh. Poor guy. Poor guy. But also, she's back. Miss Cloud Lady over here. The judge giving Ias her vote is fantastic. But Ellerin was the real spy, and the Sandlord showed up to him? Is that who's in the clouds? Aha! In the epilogue, first off, Bayon can also do Sand Mastery, which is cool. The face is back, but Chris says she's seen the face in water, in the clouds, in the sand, so I'm not the only one. Also, she mentions, investiture of power, and there's, a weekly pulse that kind of charges the sand, probably, and also the star marks on them. So, I'm guessing, because autonomy is the shard for this place. So, I'm guessing autonomy is one that's, giving the people their powers through the sand or the star marks? Huh. All right. White Sand. I have finished it. So let's talk about it. This was my first time interacting with Brandon Sanderson's work, 100% reading it, and this time with visuals. Because most of my journey has been audiobooks lately. Sometimes I'll read along. Sometimes I'll knock out a chapter real quick, if I have some downtime. But this was my first time experiencing this through my eyeballs, primarily. And it was a ride. I really like this a lot. I thought it was really cool. I like the artwork a ton. I like the way that the magic works here, and the fact that there's a 2-sided planet with light side, dark side, sand mastery was really cool. A lot of politics in this one, which is pretty neat. I like the kind of wildlife and its interaction with water. I thought that was really cool. That there's an ocean, but then there's also the desert, and they're kind of, yin and yang sort of stuff going on, with Taldane being, light side, dark side kind of stuff. I love that this was obviously it was Kenton's story, but it was also Chris's story, and Chris was really cool. I'm glad that I got a visual of her, because I've now kind of experienced her in other stories, and I just think she's really cool. It is kind of interesting now, because I just finished this 5 minutes ago. It is interesting that the story has Chris going to Dayside to get help because the Dynasty is trying to mess with her people. And she goes through all of this as kind of like a bystander. I mean, she helps as best she can, but like she doesn't speak the language. So she's like, I'm going to get help, sees all this stuff, and then she's like, okay, I'm going to go back home now with some help. So it was, I don't know, I think that's kind of funny. The fact that the book starts with her and it ends with her, but as far as like her mission and what she's trying to do, it's just starting. I do love a crisis of faith story. I love Kenton trying to kind of figure it out for what's best for his people. I thought was pretty neat. Arik is a really cool character, but ultimately, I think I like Brandon Sanderson's work through my ears, because I did enjoy this, but also I've learned with my ADD, I can't really control it. So reading sometimes is a little tough when I have to like focus and do things, especially when I'm so busy. And this was a very different kind of experience. In the same way, I'm also interested to see how much of this I actually retain, because I had a good time. I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the characters, but it was just kind of, it was good. It was good. I really liked it. I don't think I have any interest in rereading it, but I did enjoy the story. I'm interested to see if it ties into anything later on. I mean, Chris is there, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is good. I'm very grateful for my public library, because they had this, and because of them, I was able to experience this story. It's also, another funny thing is, for me, autonomy is like this sort of boogeyman almost, because I haven't read Stormlight or Warbreaker or any of that. So it was like, I've mentioned this in the past, you think Miles 100 Lives is the bad guy, but nope, it's actually Suit. Nope, it's actually Telsin. Nope, it's actually autonomy. So it's like 5 levels deep into the big bad to the big bad to the big bad is autonomy. And autonomy is also the shard for this planet. And so I'm like, ooh, I don't like autonomy. So that was kind of interesting, because autonomy is doing some pretty crazy stuff on Scadrial, but just seems to be kind of once a week charging the batteries of Taldane. So I'm interested to see how that goes from here. Yeah, so I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was cool. I liked the creatures. I liked the planet. I liked the political intrigue. I thought it was pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna reread it. I know that you guys have been telling me there's like a prose version coming out pretty soon. I don't know if I'm gonna pick it up, if it's just the same thing of this. Like, I thought it was good, but I think for me, even though I enjoyed it, I think White Sand is gonna fall victim to the same thing that Emperor's Soul and Hope of Elantris and Elantris fell for me, in that those 3 I read after Era 1 because I wanted to knock them out before getting to Era 2. And this is one of those ones where, like, I had to knock it out. Again, I enjoyed it, but I'm reading Warbreaker next. So I was like, okay, I got to finish this so I can get to Warbreaker. You know what I mean? So I think that had something to do with it as well. But I'm starting Warbreaker tonight. I'm so excited. It's going to be great. I don't know anything about it, but everyone else seems to love it. But yeah, so I'm starting that tonight. But that was my thoughts. White Sand, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I now have to return this to the library, because I'm going out of the country. Anyway, that's that. Next up is Warbreaker. After Warbreaker, we start the Stormlight Archives. Let's do this.